All right, fool, come out.
Why?
Because you got to do this.
Okay.
You good?
I'm good.
All right, let's go. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. When the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, Ghostbusters, new and old, join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age. We've done the previous and only 2 previous Ghostbusters movies there exists.
Exactly.
We've done them for the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like to give our perspective so people know where we're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider myself a fan of Ghostbusters because I don't just throw that word out like a lot of people say, like, I'm a fan, and you ask them a semi-difficult question, they don't know shit. But I enjoy, respect, and love what the first 2 Ghostbusters movies did for pop culture, and I respect the fan base, and I understand what makes them good and what makes them bad or whatever from the original franchise.
And I ditto.
You're not a fan?
Oh no, I am. I would not say a fan because there was a lot of information I don't know, but I do love the first 2 movies. I like the previous movie. I actually liked it a lot.
And Afterlife, I enjoyed that too.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool movie, and I liked a lot of stuff from that movie that carries on to this one.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to see how much the kids grew from movie to movie, though.
Machi.
That's like the toughest thing with working with the kids, I guess, that you can't help puberty from happening.
Yeah, those growth spurts are bitches, man.
Podcast looks like a whole ass adult almost. Like he lost his cuteness from movie to movie.
I did not recognize him. I was like, who's this kid?
They're not cute kids anymore. They're like moody teenagers.
Exactly.
So I will say that the movie does try to take the older stuff and spruce it up a bit and modernizing it. And in some cases it works, and in some others not so much. It's a very, very hard balancing act that the movie has to do.
Mm-hmm.
And with what it had to work with, it did an okay job, I felt like.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's one of the best movies, but no, I mean, it's okay. It did struggle with the pacing, I think.
Oh, the pacing was terrible, man.
Yeah, it was. Why had it had to be 2 hours?
Don't know. None of the other ones were 2 hours.
No. They're trying to cramp a lot of stuff, even like side stuff. For example, the thing with Slimer. I like Slimer.
Yeah.
And he had a part to play in the whole thing, but it was like, okay.
It doesn't feel worth the time. That's the part.
No.
Because the original paces was blistering, right? They're all doing stuff, but it all matters, and we're all keeping track. And here it just feels super slow. Or me, it's not that I don't care what happens. It's just that it's just so slow. The whole second act felt super boring to me because, like, the beginning of the trailer, that destruction and all that doesn't happen till the third act of the movie.
And almost the last part of the third act.
Yeah, and it didn't need to be that long. There was a lot of explaining of what could happen, but we don't see anything happen until like almost the very end. There's a lot of tell and not enough show, in my opinion.
Yes, it does feel a lot like that.
Because they're explaining every little detail of everything, and shit doesn't go bananas until probably like halfway of the movie.
If you show something, it could take 5 to 10 seconds normally, but they're taking 2 to 3 minutes just to explain everything. And I'm like, oh my God. And when they're showing it to you, they're explaining it in excruciating detail. I do like it normally, but it made the movie drag too much.
It doesn't need it here.
No. And even for example, in the second one, this is one of the scenes I love, and I talked about this a little bit. When they're developing pictures of Vigo, they're like, what do you want to eat? This? Even that kind of helped the movie trek along.
That was like the only filler that's not really filler. It's more like an insight of their relationship, but that has a meaning to it. Here is just like scientific mumbo jumbo, but they didn't make it fun like the other movies did.
Precious time we could have used to make the movie go by faster.
And there's usually like a good payoff to that. And the payoff is just meh, but you made me wait for so long for that, you know? The dialogue is 50-50 in the sense that 50% of the jokes hit. In this case, I think it's kind of a good thing because there's so many jokes. There's a lot of jokes. Like, so 50% of a lot of jokes is a lot of half chuckles, you know?
Yeah, I only did howl right at the end. But there's some jokes that kind of try too hard. Maybe I'm kind of jaded because of the Marvel humor.
Because it is that kind of humor.
Yeah, it's too over the top, and I was like, oh, okay.
This movie is so middle that it's going to sound like we're complaining a lot. And then on the other side, it's going to be like, we love it. So, because that's how middle of the road it is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because they balance so many characters in a great way. Like, they do a good job in balancing so many characters, because there's a lot of people. Just look at the damn poster. Then they add a few more people still, and it's like, okay, that's a lot of people. But the main people all kind of feel the same to me. In the original, you got Winston. He's got his deal, right? He's there for the cash.
Yep.
He's working. That's his deal.
Yeah, Egon is the tech. Ray is like the paranormal obsessive guy.
Then you got Venkman, who's just a clown and adds so much comedic relief to the movie.
And levity.
Add all these other people. What's their part? It's kind of like, yeah, the main girl is a nerdy, so she kind of, for Egon, yeah, so she's that. The mom is the mom. The Paul Rudd is trying to be the comedic relief.
That did come as a try hard, because he's also supposed to be some nerdy guy, not a clown.
The new characters, they don't have their character set, you know, like this is this guy and this is the other guy, this is the other guy, you know. It's kind of, even like, if you think about it, the brother Finn Wolfhard and Paul Rudd are kind of the same guy, just different ages.
Yeah, that was weird, because they were their own characters, but in this one they kind of meld into the same guy.
And I understand, because even though Murray is technically in the movie, you have to replace him, because he's really not in the movie, because as we talked about in the last one, he's not a gigantic fan of making the Ghostbusters movies. He's kind of done. So they use him in the poster as like the second biggest, you know, character, but he's barely in it, a little bit more than halfway, and then he shows up at the end for the final fight, right? And when he shows up, he adds so much to it. You realize how much he actually did carry the whole franchise.
Yes! He just rocks up, takes a bottle of booze, and says, let's do this. And that felt way heavier than everything that Paul Rudd and Wolfhard did.
As much as it feels like he's forced to doing it, he's so good. That Venkman character is great, because he shows up and he's like, look at Melnitz with the suit, and he's like giving her shit. And just his character is established as that guy. No, none of the other characters feel super established. They feel cookie cutter. And the original cast feels like real people. I think that's the best way to explain it. I will say that in the beginning, the movie is actually kind of spooky for a split second. There is spooky moments. Like I said, I did like the third act. There's a bunch of cool callbacks throughout the movie. And like I also mentioned, they're mixing older stuff with newer stuff, not only in the form of like Easter eggs, but especially in this movie in terms of like elements. Like Kumail Nanjiani is in there, and he basically is trying to play the Moranis role a little bit. So they kind of borrow that element from the first movie, but they kind of flip it. Instead of making him a bad guy, he's kind of a good guy now. It's doing the same thing that Paul Rudd is trying to do, which is trying to fill the Murray hole with Paul Rudd. And in this case, they're trying to fill the Moranis hole with Kumail, but they're just different pegs.
So wrong. The different pegs way?
That makes it worse.
Phil Moranis' hole with a different peg.
Phil Moranis' hole with a Kumail Nanjiani peg. It don't go together.
He has a different tone to his humor, to his banter with everybody.
But the role that he's trying to fulfill is the same one as Moran. It's just a different style. So did it work or did it not work? I'm still trying to figure that out.
I felt it kind of didn't work just because there were too many characters.
Yes, you can't appreciate only him, because then you have all these other people to worry about.
Yeah, because he comes in, in the second act, almost halfway through the movie. There's a bunch of setup, and then he comes around, and it actually takes almost half the movie for the main plot to develop.
There is a cool, badass, dope-ass villain at the end. That's why I liked the third act. That design was cool and scary. He was interesting, but that's the positive. The negative is that he shows up too late. He should have appeared halfway through and caused mayhem halfway through the movie and have them run around in the frozen, everybody frozen, and then try to fix it that way. There's so many damn characters. Kill someone off to add some sort of weight to the movie.
The weight that the movie would carry if Ray died, I would have loved it just because it adds stakes. it cements the villain as a bad guy, like a badass villain.
Kill Venkman. He don't want to be in the movies anyway.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
And he's the favorite. We're going to riot.
Yes.
In a good way, making us hate the villain even more.
But I think the studio was so fearful of doing that we would riot or whatever.
In the second one, yeah.
Yeah, that they didn't do it.
But I'd rather him be dead, up as it sounds, than have him half-ass the part, and you can tell that he didn't want to do it. You can see it in his face that he's kind of forced to be there for a paycheck. And he's so good, he's still fantastic. That's the part that pisses me off the most. He is so good at what he does. He's kind of half-assing it, and we're all like, yay!
And it feels like it goes with the character, which is even more fucked up.
Because he's super old, and he's like, well, one more ghost, whatever. But yeah, if they would have killed Venkman, that solves a lot of problems for Murray's life. And you can't really kill Stance because that's like the main guy.
Yeah, but imagine if he died. It would have been, oh shit, the heart of the first team died. Now we're going to carry in his memory and like get that second hurrah to kill the main baddie.
Someone needed to die. There's so many characters. Kill somebody. The tech is still cool. The world is still pretty cool. The ghosts this time around are okay. There's some shout outs there. The love interest question mark was weird. That was in the middle of the road too. Was that, and I'm not going to say who it is to not spoil, but was that a friendship or was that love relationship? I couldn't tell because it was so middle of the road, but they treated it so like, I don't know. Were they afraid of having to kiss at the end there? Or I don't know.
I hated that. The fact that it was so ambiguous.
Yeah.
I mean, I love some ambiguity in some aspects of a movie, but this is supposed to be like a heartfelt relationship between two characters, be the relationship as it may, which is supposed to be pivotal to one of the characters having this shift to help or to be supposed to be.
And it kicks off the mess too.
Exactly.
And there's betrayal and all this other stuff. So
yeah, this is a pivotal moment, and it was so lukewarm to see, okay, is it love or is it a friendship? Because at the end, you know what? I said, you know what? It's a friendship. That's where my brain went.
But it's so open that I was like, I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. Go all in. Don't pussyfoot around shit.
Some understanding on where their relationship stands. And that gives it more depth. It gives it more character. And it heightens everything. But no, it's just so, oh, you're going. Oh, well.
They were doing stuff as if it was a friendship, but they were saying stuff as if it was love. So that's why it was so confusing.
I hated that. I really hated that they didn't go all in with one or the other.
Yeah, pick one. There is some action, but like I said, the whole second act is a lot of blah, blah, blah. I wish there was a little bit more action. Because the action's cool when they're chasing the dragon in the very beginning is dope.
Yeah. Even that ghost where the one that was in the containment field, I wanted to know more about that one. I hate the marshmallows now.
I didn't like the marshmallows this time around. The first time they had me dying. They did them perfectly the first time because they were funny. This time they came off annoying and extra. I didn't like them.
Yeah, like, oh, Ray just kept them.
Yeah, and
they're breeding.
That was funny when he says they're breeding, but the chaos that they were creating wasn't enough for me to care.
It was just it was just like a vehicle to kind of show that the main baddie kind of controlled or summoned the ghost or whatever, but it wasn't enough.
No. But as much as we were bitching about it, they did what they could with the property just by how movies are made today. This movie's missing the magic, the charm of the 80s. But that's every movie now. There's very rare movies that are like charming and make you feel somewhere. They make you feel some way. There's no magic to anything at all. But that's all movies. So I can't fault this movie for not having magic that no movie has nowadays. Everything is just so plastic, which is sad. So I'm not going to fault that for that.
I'm just kidding. The only thing that made me howl with laughter was way at the end when the fucking mayor comes out and he's going to like bring the smack down. And there this guy yells,
Simon.
At least thank them, dickless. Oh my God. I went into a coughing fit because because how much it caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And when I was done, like these people were looking at me were like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
You have to pay attention to catch it because my uncle didn't catch it.
No?
Nobody caught it. I was the only one laughing too at the end because nobody caught it. They didn't catch it.
I was here listening to these people talk to their families about Ghostbusters. So they're nerding out to their family who clearly does not give a Yeah. And then they didn't laugh at that. I was like, what the where are we at, man?
Yeah.
But that was gold.
Even that character's presence is a callback. I had to look at my uncle. I'm like, you know who that is, right? He's like, yeah. All right, cool.
That's Dickless.
That's Dickless right there. I do think it's a middle of the road movie. It does an okay job in balancing and modernizing the old stuff. The thing is, it's so middle of the road that I can see fans either loving it or hating it because, like I mentioned, they do copy a lot of the OG stuff. But I get it. With franchise like this that means so much to pop culture, it's really, really, really hard to win. There's so much nostalgia tied up in it, and that makes the movie be tasked with something super impossible to do, which is to replicate nostalgia without the things that make it nostalgic.
Yeah, it has a lot of weight on its shoulders. You can't possibly live up to those expectations.
So it technically failed in that sense, but if you take it for what it is, it's an okay movie. But of course, let us know what you think down in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell us why. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Remember to always and forever, you do you.
Bye.
Horizonte Strange. I like that they used it again. In the neighborhood.
Quirky sound.
The music was fantastic. I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
The music is great.
10 out of 10 with that one.